All right, this is my reaction to, black people being in the Americas even before the Native Americans, and here's proof. So let this Hebrew sister tell us like it is.
Hey, Paleo Hebrew. New Mexico, United States of America. How did that get there? It's believed that it was once an Israelite wilderness tabernacle about 2,500 years ago. On the rock it says, Yahweh our God. We have Native American Indians who have said that that these things pre-existed before the arrival of their ancestors.
Pre-existed before their ancestors. Woo!
Here we have more archaeological evidence. This is called the Holy Stones. All historic evidence of Hebrew presence in the Americas. Okay, so that was a little of how we actually we're tracking them to the Americas. That was a little history. That's even before the transatlantic slave trade. History doesn't stop just because they tell you a portion. What happened before they wrote the textbook?
One of the first scientific excavations of a mound was done by the man considered the father of Northern American archaeology, Thomas Jefferson. In 1781, after excavating a small burial mound near Monticello, his home in Virginia, Jefferson had no doubt that this and other mounds in the area were the work of American Indians. In the mid-1840s, the first fairly extensive study of mound sites was conducted by two men working out of Chillicothe, Ohio, Ephraim G. Squire, a local newspaperman, and Edwin H. Davis, a physician. They excavated at nearby Mound City and also explored a large number of other earth mounds and enclosures. Their findings were published by the recently established Smithsonian Institution. They concluded that some of the earthworks were sacred enclosures and that the people who had built them were skilled mathematicians and engineers. Unfortunately, after bringing this ancient American heritage to light, the two men had a falling out and Davis sold his collection of artifacts for $10,000. With no reliable federal or state legislation existing to protect these sites, the destruction and looting of the mounds and their buried treasures became a critical problem.
They were very obvious. People excavated them purely out of curiosity, with no record keeping whatsoever. One instance that I know of, a farmer was removing a burial mound, found a copper artifact, and used it to repair his shovel. There were Mississippian mounds that were dynamited and artifacts hauled out in wheelbarrow loads and sold to people right on the spot, and the collection dispersed all over the country.
The Spiro Mound site in Oklahoma became known as a veritable treasure trove of artifacts. In the early 1930s, it was labeled the King Tut's Tomb of the Arkansas Valley because it was being ransacked by a mining company that had control of the land. The local citizens were outraged and pressured the Oklahoma legislature into passing an antiquities law in 1935. Unearthed at this site was one of the best preserved and largest of the Mississippian figurines, a human effigy pipe standing 11 inches tall. The adornments, the cap, braid, beaded necklace, and feathered cape, give us a rare portrait of a member of the elite of that particular society.
Does this artifact look Asian? Does this artifact look Caucasian? This perfectly preserved remnant found in the heart of America resembles what some would call a Negro. Inevitably, in depiction after depiction, Indians have been whitewashed into Euro-Mongoloid hybrids. But the bodies that were exhumed from the burial mounds were all Negro.
Hebrew
Quote
Israelite.
from Crania Americana, an inquiry into the distinctive characteristics of the Aboriginal race of America by Samuel Morton, renowned American anthropologist. It must be noted that Samuel Morton was also a eugenicist who promoted the idea of Caucasian superiority. Quote, it is an adage among travelers that he who has seen one of the Indians has seen them all.